One of the most powerful pieces of functionality of Sysdig Cloud is the grouping functionality. The grouping functionality allows you to use metadata from many different systems to sort, organize, and aggregate all of the metrics coming from your hosts and your containers. You aggregate them into something that's a more logical unit that you'd like to monitor and troubleshoot. So for example, you can go from monitoring containers to monitoring services. The way it works is we scrape information from all of these core underlying systems, AWS, Google, your orchestration system like Kubernetes, Mesos, or Docker, as well as automation systems like Puppet and Chef and Ansible. We leverage that metadata or labels or tags, whatever you'd like to call them, and allow you to apply that to your environment dynamically. So let's take a look at a very simple environment, and we'll show you how it works. Over here, we're running a pretty small environment with just a few hosts. And you'll see right across the top here, we've got a set of items which control our grouping. This is the grouping area. And we're going to show you how to use this in real time right here to make use of metadata you're collecting. Now, the shortcut in this environment is to use a lot of the preset groupings that we have set up. As I mentioned, we can do grouping off of lots of different information, and we have presets for AWS, AWS's Elastic Container Service, Docker Compose, Kubernetes, Marathon, Mesos, and more. But we're going to instead do it by hand so you can see how this works. Now, in this case, we're grouping by host and then by container. What that means is in your Explore table, if you click on any one of these hosts, you can drill down and see all the containers associated with that host. If you click on this host itself, you get an overview of the host that aggregates information about all the containers running underneath it. Now, let's suppose we weren't interested in the hosts and we're just interested in the containers. We can simply kill off the host in the grouping bar, and you see we get an entire list of containers. That's interesting, but frankly, not that useful, especially at scale. So instead, let's leverage Kubernetes metadata. We collect Kubernetes metadata out of the box as soon as you instrument your Kubernetes master. And using that, we can capture information like your replication controller information. Actually, let's start with namespace. And what you'll see is we automatically aggregate this information by namespace. So if I click on prod, then I'm getting information about the entire prod namespace. Again, this is really powerful if you just want to establish how prod's doing. You may need to go deeper into your Kubernetes replication controllers. So here, now, what you'll see is Sysdig automatically reorients. And not only do I have prod, but I can drill down into prod, and I can see each of my replication controllers. Let's go further. Not only are we interested in replication controllers, but we're interested in your pods. So let's find Kubernetes pod names. And again, we can now see the replication controllers as well as the pod names. For one last item here, we might want to add back in the containers themselves by ID. Now we can drill down from the prod environment into our Java application, all the way down to the individual container. So what you see here is that grouping functionality gives you the ability to not only see your environment as you logically organize it, but it allows you to drill down into any layer that is appropriate for your troubleshooting. Once you've created a grouping functionality that you like, just like we had created presets, you can save your own settings. So I can save this as my grouping preset. And then it's already there for you next time you want to use it. If you haven't yet implemented grouping or used it, please take a moment to try it out. You'll notice that you're going to get significantly more capabilities and power using grouping than you would using almost any other monitoring tool that's available in the market.